now let's move on and look a bit at Kanban. Before presenting the gadgets, I will make a short overview of the Kanban process. Kanban, as you know, it's more suitable for operations. It's also used for development, but it's more used for operations. Imagine, for example, a service desk team handling incidents reported by customers, or a company that delivers pizza and they receive orders from customers and they have to deliver the pizza as fast as possible. So this is what Kanban is about. Mainly you have customers reporting issues, and these issues are all accumulated in a single list. Here there is the Kanban backlog, which is ranked by various criteria, having the most important, let's say, items on top of the list. So someone prioritizes the backlog continuously, and or it's prioritized automatically based on specific criteria. And there is a team that picks items continuously from this backlog, drag them in their board, in the to-do board, then resolve them by moving them on doing, and then in done, and so on. And the idea is to resolve the issues as fast as possible. And so for this type of project or process, there are some key metrics and indicators that you should look at. First is the cycle time. Cycle time indicates how long does it take to the team to resolve the issue. So it's about the internal workflow of the team. More exactly, when the issue reached doing, so it was moved in doing, how much took to the team until they move it to done, for example. So this is cycle time, where it could be from to do to done as well. It depends, but mainly it's since the moment the team started working effectively on the issue and until the moment they mark it as resolved. So it's about the internal process. How long does it take to the team to resolve an issue? This is cycle time. Another important metric is the lead time. Lead time indicates how long does it take from reporting to delivery. Is the total time from the customer's perspective. So if I look at this diagram, is from the moment the customer reported the issue until the issue was moved to done. So it's the whole process time in this case. This is lead time. So another important metric is the throughput, or what we name Kanban velocity. Throughput indicates how many issues the team resolves per time unit, how productive this team is, how many issues they resolve in 1 week, let's say. This way you measure the capacity and the productivity of the team. And there is also the work in progress, which is essential to see if your process has bottlenecks or it works smoothly. So an important indicator you should always look at if you manage such a process or a Kanban team. And for this, we have various gadgets available that I'm going to present. So first, these three gadgets that I have here: cycle time control chart, cycle time histogram, and cycle time trend. These are charts for measuring cycle time and lead time. They are named cycle time, but they can be configured as lead time, or you can configure them to display any time between two specific statuses. So cycle time control chart helps you see what issues took longer and the average cycle time. Cycle time histogram tells you how many issues took longer and the distribution of the cycle time. And the trend indicates how quickly the team resolves the issues and if they improve in time. I will demonstrate how to use them. First is the cycle time control chart gadget. For this, I will create a new dashboard. I will name it Kanban dashboard. And I will add the cycle time control chart. So control chart is based, you can use a Kanban board here or a Scrum board. It works for any of them, or you can use a filter. In this case, I will choose to select a filter. I will select a filter I have, support all issues, for example. And I want to measure the, let's say, cycle time in this case. Cycle time is from the moment an issue reach in progress, so the team effectively started to work on an item, and from the moment it was moved to done, it reached a status category done. So this is how I configure what to measure, how the cycle starts and how the cycle finished. I configured this way, so I am going to measure the cycle time here. Cycle time control chart. And I will display the data, let's say, for the last 100 days. I want to calculate cycle time in hours. I have an option to count or not the weekends, because some teams prefer not to include the weekends in the calculation. And yeah, for now, that's all. I will just display the data tab, and I have the control chart displayed. So the horizontal axis, you have the time that was selected, is the time frame, the 100 days back. This is the current date, and this is 100 days back. And these are the issues that had a cycle completed in this time interval. And I can see for every issue on the vertical axis here, this is the cycle time in hours for every issue. If I move the mouse over any of them, I can see this issue had a cycle time of 12 hours. It was resolved here in this time interval, and it has 12 here. It has 12 hours cycle time. This one, for example, has a 96 hours cycle time. So it took much longer. This line indicates the average. So the average is 48 hours for my team. So my team has an average resolved issues in 48 hours. This is what the chart indicates. So let's say you should be warned when an issue takes more than 1700 hours, let's say. So I can set that custom threshold, which is this red line here. And now I can easily identify the issues that took longer than expected, that took longer than the threshold I entered. And now I can easily identify them. I simply hover the mouse over the point here, and I can see details about the issue key, how long it took, when the cycle started, when it finished. So I can easily identify and eventually discuss with the team, see what happened, take actions if necessary, and so on. I will move on to histogram chart gadget. So this gadget measured the same thing. It has almost the same settings. The only difference is the way it presents the data. So for this one, I will select a filter with my issues. I will configure it as lead time. So I would say lead time. Lead time is from the moment the issue was created to the moment it was moved to done. And again, for 100 days back, again, save. So this is the histogram, lead time histogram chart, which displays the distribution of the cycle time for the issues that were resolved in in the time period that I selected. So what does it mean more exactly? For example, this says that in the range 10-20, which is the cycle time in hours, I had 10 items. So 10 items had a cycle time between 10 and 20. This one said that in the range 50-60 hours, there were 32 items here. So I can see how the distribution of the cycle time is in specific ranges. And I can see, for example, if I set a threshold of 80 hours, let's say, okay, what is more than 80? It's not good. So I have to look at, you can easily identify how many items are over this threshold, because you have 3 items in range 80-90 and 2 items in range higher than 90. So cycle time control chart gives you information about individual issues, and you can see individual issues here, while this one tells you how many issues were in specific ranges. And the third gadget that measures the cycle time or lead time is cycle time as a trend. This one. Again, configuration, it's pretty similar with the other gadgets. So I will select the filter with my support issues. I will measure cycle time. So from the moment it was in progress to done. I will group data by 1 week. And I want to display 5 intervals back. I can also display a data table, but this measures cycle time trend. Because I measure the data weekly, this is the weekly cycle time, weekly cycle time trend. Yeah, and this is the cycle time for every past week for the previous 5 weeks. As I can see in this week, the team resolved as an average, resolved issues in 20 hours. In this one in 23, this one in 24, this one in 29 as an average. So I can see the trend here. The team tends to, this time tends to decrease from a week to another, which is a good sign because my team resolve issues faster. Two other gadgets that are really helpful for Kanban, the Kanban velocity or throughput. It is based on a filter or board. I will choose a filter for now. You can configure what done means. Done can be any status category done or issues in the last column of the selected board. You can select here an interval date. It's just for interval alignment. So I want 2 weeks starting with Monday. I will pick up any Monday here. So this is just for data alignment. The interval displayed in the chart, you actually configure it from here. You choose the number of intervals displayed from here because this is relative to the current date. So five weeks back actually, and I will calculate the average for the last 3 intervals. I can calculate in issue count, which is specific to Kanban, but I can also calculate in story points. But I will choose issue count. I can also include the subtask in the calculation. And this is the velocity chart for my Kanban team, or the throughput chart. How many issues they deliver every week. Last week they deliver 28, 3 weeks back 22, and so on. And this is how their average velocity looks like. So it's increasing. It's a good sign. What I want to show you is this nice feature that might be useful. This gadget helps you answer the tough question, when will it be done? You might have this question from the customer. You have this option here, show backlog forecast. It displays the backlog from the filter or from the board that you selected, which must be ranked. So you have the backlog ranked. Based on the velocity calculated here, 24, the current velocity, it gives you an indication about when the issues from the backlog will be resolved, in what time interval. And last but not least is the cumulative flow diagram. So here you select a board or a filter. I will select a time interval for which data is displayed. And let's say intervals of 1 day. Chart bands are based on status categories. I will explain this right after. It displays 3 bands here, done, in progress, and new. So done are how many issues you had in the board in the done column along the time. And of course, the team resolves issues continuously. So this area is expected to grow in time. It increases continuously. This is how many items were in progress, or in the mid columns of the board. How much work was in progress, what was the backlog size along the time. This gadget is useful because the 3 lines are important. The done line should grow continuously because your team resolves the issue. If it stays flat, means that the team doesn't resolve issues, so the process is blocked somehow. In progress, this should stay flat. If you can see this band enlarging at some point, somewhere is a bottleneck. It means that they do not manage to finish the issues. They start more than they finish. And the new line shows the backlog size, which should stay flat. But if you see this backlog size enlarging in time, means that the team maybe doesn't have enough capacity to handle the workload. The work accumulates in time. or maybe the team underperforms, or there might be other reasons. It's an essential chart for Kanban, and actually it's one of the most advanced analytics in Agile, because it gives you a lot of other indicators here. There are many articles on the internet about how to read the cumulative flow diagram, but personally I like the fact that I can see these three bands.
Boost your agility. Try great gadgets now.